Hey guys, welcome to another week here at the intermediate course, and today we're going to go a little bit further on the Darce choke. So we're going to go and set up a different kind of setup than we did last time, and yeah, we're going to look at some reactions Christian is going to do while he's in the choke. Okay, so nice and easy here. We're going to start from the same position, turtle here, and like last time, I threw myself underneath and then I locked the choke from that position, okay? In scenarios where I'm maybe the same weight or stronger than Christian, then I'm gonna do this other setup here. But of course, if you're really good, maybe time it right, it's perfect, okay? This one is like very beginner friendly because it's kind of like a very instinctively thing to crank people's neck. I don't know. So here, palm to palm, I'm gonna scissor my arms a little bit here. So watch how I'm using my arms and squeezing my elbows together. What I'm trying to do here is just tip Christian over so he lands on his side here, okay? So coming back, arm goes under behind his armpit, hand comes up beside his neck, palm to palm, because I couldn't grab my bicep right. So let's say I tried to go for my bicep, I couldn't, so I'm gonna grab my palm, I'm gonna crank his neck a little bit down and tip him over to the side here, okay? Super nice and easy. I'm in a good position to start setting up the Darce, okay? Make sure that your chest is pressing down on his shoulder into his neck here, okay? So my arm is all the way through, but at no point am I in front of his shoulder here, okay? What happens now is even if I lock it, it's the wrong kind of pressure, okay? So we move like this so people can see. I want to make sure I'm over his shoulder, okay? Not in front of it, over, okay? So now when I lock it, it's much tighter, okay? So looking from the side here, watch how I'm now going to turn my hips, okay? So I'm turning my hips here, I'm going to walk down to his legs. And the easiest one to catch is the bottom leg, because I'm just going to use my heel to hook his leg here and pull it, and then bring it in between, okay? So I want to close his legs here, or close, or tighten, how should I say, lock his leg in between so he can't escape, okay? If I catch the top leg, this is fine too, or most likely the bottom leg will be more available, okay? Like this. Reason being, if he managed to go away, the choke is not going to be as tight, okay? There's a couple of things I can do and there's a couple of things he can do, but I want to come closer to his legs here to really get the choke, okay? So, oh, make sure to tap if you're feeling anything, okay? So, in last week's video, I made Christian fall down to the floor on this side. And what happened then is I have to bring my elbow to the floor to tighten the choke. In this scenario, I got the Darce stroke on this side, okay? So to get the choke here, I'm gonna try to pull my elbow up towards the ceiling, okay? So it's the same motion, but often when you just turn it over to the other side, people can't really think straight, right? So starting from the beginning, I'm gonna tip Christian over, boom, lock the Darce stroke, walk in towards his legs here, and watch how I'm gonna lay down a little bit beside him here, parallel to his body, and pull my elbow up towards the ceiling, okay? So it's not a lot of power involved, it's here and here, okay? Of course, I'm not pulling my hand off my bicep, I'm keeping it there, but I'm just turning, rotating the choke a little bit, because the pressure initially is on the side of his neck, but as I rotate, I'm putting it much more in the front here, which gives a better choking effect, or strangling effect if people really want to be picky about it. Okay, one last time, just because Christian probably hates me here. So here, I scissor, bring his head down, lock, walk in tight, I catch his leg, and there, I can finish the choke. Wuss. Okay guys, so we're gonna go a little bit further here with the same Darce choke setup, and there's a situation that will happen quite a lot to some of you, or most of you, and in that scenario we're gonna go for the north-south choke, okay? So starting from the same setup, nice and easy, We don't have to do anything more fancy. So I'm gonna palm to palm here, bring his head to the floor here, and he's on his side, okay? So what happens now is I'm trying to go for the Darce choke, and Christian is a smart opponent, and he knows what's happening. So his natural reaction is to bring his shoulder to the floor, okay? And what happens then is that I can't put my chest behind his shoulder anymore, because what I want is this here, okay? But as soon as he brings his shoulder back, suddenly I don't have that pressure anymore. So I have to change. I'm gonna go for a north-south choke now, okay? So important still, I'm trying to isolate this arm, okay? Of course, there's variations where I can do without the arm, but in this scenario, I'd rather keep his arm here and make it a tight choke with the arm inside, okay? So let's go a little bit further back. So, the middle, to the wall. Okay, so here, I'm going for the Darce choke. He starts flattening out his shoulder, and watch how I'm still holding on to the back of his head, and we're gonna walk around him here. Okay? So as I do so, I'm gonna make sure my arm really goes deep and far underneath him. So here, I'm coming to the side. Okay? So just to show without Christian's head here in the way, what I'm trying to do now is the hand that I had on the back of his head, I'm just gonna turn it, go palm to palm with my other hand, and then go for a north-south choke here, okay? And what I'm doing is I'm getting really low with my body here, okay? So I want to bring the pressure from my shoulder down to the floor, which means I can't be like this, because then I can't go low. So watch how I'm bringing my elbow in so I can get even lower here, okay? Now, I got that pressure. Last bit here, I'm going to use my body in towards Christian here, okay? So I really want to push his shoulder into his neck, okay? So starting from the beginning, we can just do the turtle so people know where to start. So palm to palm, I got him down, went for Darce, and now I'm setting up the north-south choke, okay? So here, watch how I'm putting palm to palm here. My arm is as deep as I manage, and I'm gonna pressure down with my shoulder and walk in towards him here, okay? So here, and walk in. Other side. Boom. Boom. And there we go. Super nice, efficient north-south choke from losing battle of the Darce. Of course, there's a couple other scenarios, and as always, you can end up in this north-south position where you've passed somebody's guard and can set up a lot of different good attacks, right? Thank you guys for watching, and as always, please like and subscribe. Hey guys, welcome to another week here at the intermediate course, and we're gonna go a little bit further on the Darce choke like we did last week. And so we're gonna start off with a different setup, and we're gonna finish pretty much same, but just on the other side here now, okay? So, like we did before, starting here in front of Christian here in the turtle position, and I'm always looking to bring this arm through and up towards his neck here, okay? So, here, my arm comes through, and I'm gonna go palm to palm, okay? So, what I'm trying to do here is I'm going to push his head to the floor, and then I'm gonna tilt Christian's body over to the side here, okay? So, to do that, I'm gonna go palm to palm, and I'm gonna use my elbows to squeeze here, okay? So, I'm gonna bring his head down like this, and then tilt him over. Nice and easy, boom. This is probably like very beginner friendly, at least to learn the Darce choke, right? So here, I can push his head down, tilt him to the side, and there we go. So now, here's a little detail. I want to make sure my arm comes all the way through here so I can really lock the Darce, but the position of my chest or of my body has to be right above his shoulder here, okay? So, a little bit to this side, there we go. So what you're gonna notice is you might have the arm through, but if your pressure is in front of his shoulder like this, and you lock it, it's not the same. You're not gonna have that same pressure, probably just squeezing on the back of his neck, okay? Whereas if I can bring his shoulder forward and put my chest on top, suddenly it's much easier for me to squeeze and get a nice choke here, okay? So really try to look for scenarios where you can manage to bring this shoulder forward. I always like to nag a little bit on the arm if I can, but most likely if he came from the position top or from turtle there, his shoulder is already here from the start, okay? So now I can lock my hand on my bicep, okay? There is some things you could do. You can grab your forearm as well, but if you can, always try to move up to your bicep, okay? So here, my other palm goes to his shoulder blade, and now I'm gonna sit down and lay beside him here, okay? So, show you guys. Boom, I locked it, and watch how I'm moving my hips sideways so I can now lock my legs around his bottom leg here, okay? So I'm trying to pull, I'm using my heel like this to bring his leg up and lock his leg inside like this, okay? This is to prevent Christian from running away and getting the choke or making the choke a little bit looser, right? Come closer again. So if I lock his leg like this, now if he tries to escape, it's a lot harder and I can follow quite easily, okay? So now for the finishing detail here, or we can start from the beginning. Boom, I made him fall, lock the Darce, and here I'm going to the side, and there we go, okay? So in this scenario, last week we were on the other side. So my locked hands were on the top side of the Christian, right? So in this scenario, I want to pull my elbow up towards the ceiling in front of his neck to make it tighter. So just so you guys understand, I'm here, I'm going to pull my elbow up and rotate the choke a little bit, okay? So last week we were here, and then I had to pull my elbow down to the floor. In this scenario, I'm here, so I have to pull my elbow up towards the ceiling. Reason being, like I've talked about before, the pressure is here, but I want to bring it in front of his neck so I really get the choking or the strangling effect, right? So I already have the pressure on the arm side, but I really need to make sure that my forearm is putting pressure on the other side here as well. So one more time here. Boom, push his head to the floor, lock the Darce, I walk in, close my legs around his, and then I pull my elbow up towards the ceiling, okay? Was. Okay guys, so we're gonna go a little bit further here. So a different scenario is when Christian managed to flatten his back out when I'm going for the Darce, and so I have to switch for north-south choke. Jesus. So if you go on this side here, Christian, and so you'll notice this, or this will happen with you a lot, especially if you do a lot of Darce. So here you go palm to palm, you push them down to the floor. You can get into this scenario in many different ways, but we're gonna take this one for now. So what happens now is that I might be having my arm in the right place, but watch how Christian brings his shoulder to the mat here. Suddenly, I can't put the same pressure on his neck anymore, okay? Even if I locked it here, it's not gonna be the same, and most likely he's gonna escape it, and then maybe I use too much power to squeeze for nothing, right? So what I wanna do now, straight away, I wanna cup the back of his head. I'm gonna walk around him here with my legs, okay? So I wanna make sure to still isolate his arm. Of course, there's different things that I can do without his arm. I can do north-south choke without it, but in this scenario, I'm trying to do with his arm, okay? So now, having the back of his head, I'm gonna walk around here, okay? So now, watch how my arm goes deep underneath his head here, like this. And I'm gonna go palm to palm here to put pressure with my shoulder, okay? So I'm just gonna show them first here, nice and easy. So once I'm in this position, I wanna get really low here, okay? So I wanna make sure I'm putting pressure down towards the floor with my shoulder. A common mistake is that you try to bring his head up from the floor. It's quite ineffective. So you wanna make sure you're putting pressure down, and watch how I'm gonna bring this elbow tight to my ribs here, just to get that 1 centimeter extra here, okay? So when I have this position and I got my shoulder low, now comes the little squeezing phase where I'm trying to push myself or pull myself in towards me, okay? So having his shoulder here and his neck a little bit further closer to my elbow here, I'm gonna use my body to pressure his shoulder in towards his neck. So, one more time. Don't fall asleep, bro. Here, bull. And now he starts flattening out, okay? So watch how my hand is through, go pump to pump, and now I can start falling down into getting tight, okay? So I'm gonna use my shoulder and pull myself tight to his body to get that. This angle. Whoop. Boom. So he flats out. And like always, having a constant pressure is way better than just squeezing for 1.5 seconds and then letting him loose again and then try to squeeze again. So try to have a constant pressure and increasing pressure if you can from that position. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. And as always, hope you guys liked it.